The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 750. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is a photographer, a filmmaker, and a designer, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Sophie Cheung. Sophie, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more by yourself to the listeners.
Definitely. Hi, I'm Sophie. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm originally from Hong Kong and I was raised in the UK, and now I'm a photographer and a filmmaker and designer in New York. And I'm based around New York and LA, and I travel back and forth. And I recently worked on my short film, The Dragon Dream, and I'm a creative director on quite a few projects right now. And yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for sharing that. And Sophie, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I feel like my favorite self-confidence quote is pretty mainstream, but I think it's helped me a lot, which is be yourself, everybody else is already taken. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
I think self-confidence is being okay with who you are, being proud of who you are no matter what. Just really being there for yourself and understanding that you are always, the best version that you can be.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And Sophie, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Interestingly, for me, I feel like self-confidence is a roller coaster because I always achieve it and then I don't achieve it and I achieve it again and I don't achieve it again. So I think there are different phases for me. So, for example, when I was going to school in England, I just felt like I never fit in with the culture because I was so different to everyone there. I was going to school in a really suburban area, a public school actually. And so everyone was English and I was the only international, really kind of like one of the few people from Hong Kong. And I was like for quite a few years, I was the only Hong Kong person or the only international person. And so I just felt really invisible and I was really not confident about myself. I looked so different to everyone. I was so short. I just looked really weird in comparison to everyone. I was the girl with black hair and everyone else had blonde hair and brown hair. And I just wish I looked like them. I guess I realized that I needed to accept myself, and I guess thanks to the internet, thanks to K-pop actually back then, it made me more confident. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos where there were Asian YouTubers. They make me a lot more confident about who I am, about being Asian in such a white area. So yeah, that's one of my phases. And then I think another one is I'm a photographer and I'm a filmmaker, and I'm surrounded by a lot of beautiful models, and I'm not a model-like person at all. And sometimes I do feel very self-conscious around such beautiful people, but you just have to really accept yourself, and that honestly, the way you look doesn't mean everything. And, some of the most successful people in the world aren't famous or successful because of the way they look. And so you just have to understand that everyone looks their own way and everyone is unique in their own way. And so, yeah, that's what I think about. And I was just feeling really terrible about myself before that. So, yeah, that was what my life was like before discovering self-confidence.
Thanks for sharing that. And it makes a huge difference when you see someone who looks like you, on the internet or on TV. That Asian representation is a a big thing. I know there's people who always tell me like, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Why can't you follow like different cultures? You know, nothing's wrong with that. It's just we can't relate to them like how we relate to Asian people. And sometimes we just need that representation to show us what's possible. And, you know, what was that point in your life when you realized you can go out there and do the things that you are, especially like, you know, filmmaking and photography? What was that aha moment?
I think for me, like when I was in England, I had some friends, I had family, and then my aha moment was actually going back to Hong Kong. And I realized that, you know, I need to stop comparing myself to others, because when I went back to Hong Kong, I was still feeling like I wasn't really fitting in. And so it made me realize that it's not just, you know, it's not about your race, it's not about how you look, it's about how you feel about yourself. So I think that made me realize, and also I just want to thank all my friends, you know, for being so supportive, for always being there for me. And I think, yeah, it was just really bad. You know, when I was in England, I remember I would look at my friends and they would be, you know, like, I guess white girls in general are a lot taller than Asian people, right? Asian women especially. And they just have really beautiful features, you know? And here's me with like, you know, my, you know, flat, tiny nose and like huge face. And I would just like, I remember when I was in England, I would just look at them and be like, oh, if she could only, you know, give me 1 centimeter, I would be taller. It was so sad, but now I'm happy with it. And so I'm really grateful.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think a lot of Asian kids, when they move to a different country, especially like the US or Europe or Canada, they feel that, right? Because like, you know, we're being raised in a Western culture and all we see is like blonde hair and blue eyes. And, you know, here's us with like small eyes, black hair, and pale skin. But we have to realize, you know, who we are is just as beautiful. And like now with the power of the internet, there's so much like Asian women and movies and covers and you know it's slowly growing, and I'm glad that you know that's starting to happen. And you know, because of that, what's your life been like now?
Yeah, because of that, right now, like honestly, I'm so thankful for YouTube because of all these Asian YouTubers. Like, do you ever watch YouTube? You know, like, does it ever help you? Does it ever make you feel better seeing someone like you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, for me, growing up, when I first Asian TV show I ever saw was American Girl with Margaret Cho. So for me, just seeing someone who looks like, not who looks like me, but has similar features makes me realize like what is possible.
Yeah, I remember like back in when I was in school, I would watch, I don't know if you know her, she's from Head to Toe on YouTube, and she was doing all these makeup tutorials, and I was like, oh my God, like finally, like someone who looks like me, who can teach me how to do makeup on my face. And yeah, and I guess it just feels so good to be yourself, to accept yourself, to understand that you're not alone in this, and to know that, you know, there are so many people like you, and whatever you're feeling, a lot of other people feel like that too. So I think this feeling of not being alone makes you feel a lot better. And for me personally, so my short film, The Dragon Dream, it features an all Asian cast, and the film is basically in English mainly, like 95%. And growing up, like, I also never really saw films or TV shows like that with Asian, you know, Asian American or just, you know, Canadian Asian, you know, it was, so I think creating something like that and seeing it come to life is so incredible. And having people around you who want the same things makes it even more incredible. And so I'm really glad that I found it. And I'm sure in the future, like, I will feel very self-conscious about something again because I enter a different phase in my life. But I know that my friends will continue to be there to support me and help me to find my self-confidence.
Thanks for sharing that. And, you know, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I think it would be true to yourself, because for me, especially, you know, being in the creative field, especially on Instagram nowadays, you see so many people doing the same thing over and over again, you know, producing similar types of artwork, similar types of work, just because they want to be accepted. But I know that there are people who want to do something that speaks to them. And, as an artist, you should always be true to yourself. As a woman, you should always be true to yourself and don't just do something because it's what the society wants. So that's what I think.
Thanks for sharing that great quote. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do and check out some of your work, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, they can go to my Instagram, which is at Sophie Cheung, Cheung Visuals, Visuals, or they can go to www.sophiecheungvisuals.com to check out my work.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Sophie, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Sophie's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Sophie today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Sophie.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Want to learn how you can use podcasting to market your business? Download your free report by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.